By the way, you know that Lieutenant Colonel Bateman, who wrote an article for Esquire magazine saying, we will take it from your cold dead hands, your guns. We will confiscate everything but smooth bore muskets, black powder guns for hunting. Turns out he does work for Homeland Security, and it turns out that he actually called up a friend of mine who's an Army, formerly an Army officer, who works at a local business. I'm not going to say his name. In fact, Matt hasn't even, there's his first name, said that I couldn't talk about it. In fact, he wants to come on the show, but I'm going to wait. And the point is, he sent Bateman an email saying, how dare you be an Army officer and talk about taking guns? And what are you doing in photos wearing some royal medal around your neck? I dare you to call me. Bateman called him yesterday from England. He lives in England. So I made these Benedict Arnold jokes of him looking like a redcoat in the photos. That's because we think those are British medals. And the point is I had Nico this morning call the number, and he's at work. And his wife works for the State Department. By the way, he told Matt all this in like a long conversation. In fact, I'll just call Matt up right now. What do I do with my phone? I actually had my cell phone just a minute ago in my hand. I can't keep track of everything anymore, ladies and gentlemen, in this crazy office. The point is that she said Bateman should be home in a couple hours, and we'll see if he calls us up and comes on the show. But it is certainly pretty crazy to have this type of stuff going on. And when we said we're with InfoWars, Nico said, she goes, oh, InfoWars, I know that. I bet they do. So I really want to get this guy on the air, and I'm going to be nice and let him talk. But the big thing is it looks like he responds to being taunted. So if Bateman doesn't come on the show, he's a chicken. So there you go. He needs to come on and say all this stuff. And reportedly, I saw comments on InfoWars that he's been contacting other people via email and Facebook and stuff. So he's apparently a busy beaver. Scroll down. He's got some British royalty thing around his neck. I mean, this is getting really weird. And so I was saying, you know, move to another country. I guess he has. At least he lives in England. And he's over there, I guess, promoting King George the 18th or something. So that's just some of the news that we have on that front today. Guys, I think I may have left my phone in McBreen's office on his desk because I was in there talking to him about 30 minutes ago. I don't know. Let's just call my phone and walk around the office till we find it, please. It's not really a phone. It's a government-issued Trojan horse, slave tracker, microwave oven to fry my brain. But it has a lot of uses, so I've accepted the gift made by slaves, forged in pain and evil, the satanic palace of communist Chinese slave dens. And I do attempt to use the evil ring of Mordor as a tool against Mordor, but we all know how that ends. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back with all the big news and more, and maybe Lieutenant Colonel, we're going to get your guns, Bateman. And I want to reach out to all these colonels teaching gun confiscation. I want them on the broadcast. Alex Jones here with a very important announcement for truth seekers. We've carried a lot of amazing films and books over the years on the online video bookstore at Infowars.com. And out of all the titles we've carried, one stands out because it is just so chillingly convincing. And that's Dreams from My Real Father by Joel Gilbert, available at Infowars.com. This film exposes the fraud that Obama is like nothing I've seen. If you want to know who Obama's real daddy is, this is the film for you. Don't forget, your purchase supports our broadcast and our growing media network. You'll also find at InfoWarsShop.com, None Dare Call a Conspiracy by Gary Allen, the book that woke me up. We're also carrying Behind the Green Mask, UN Agenda 21 by Rosa Corey. This book is coffin nails to the globalist takeover. The Greater Good, the most professional and up-to-date film I've ever seen exposing the scourge that is vaccines. These titles and a lot more are all available at InfoWarsShop.com. The year is extremely long in the tooth, as they say. Well, I'm looking at drudgereport.com. The top story, Putin dissolves state media. One of the biggest state-run media outlets in Russia has been dissolved by Herr Putin. He says, I guess, to save money and other things. Kind of like they're cutting back on the state-run media here that claims it's not state-run, but is state-run. And now Obama isn't letting them into press conferences and is just having his own media corps put out info. And CNN is basically collapsing into entertainment. It's the same deal all over the world. Japan basically declared martial law last Thursday, declaring anything they want secret, and the government can basically do whatever it wants in the middle of their 20-year depression. China is going into a depression and is seeing a stock market as well as a real estate bubble implode right now. And what happens when that happens all over the world? What happened before World War I and World War II? What happened before other big regional wars? Every time. If an economy's bad in one country, they don't tend to start a war. But when multiple countries bordering each other or geographically competing for larger markets like the South China Sea and that whole area in Asia and the Pacific, when you've got a bunch of countries in a global recession, depression, what do governments do to stay in power? They start wars, ladies and gentlemen. That is a historical fact. We keep telling you, look for war to come as the global economy melts down. And remember, the globalists understand these cycles, so they attempt to actually orchestrate the cycles, hijack the cycles, surf the cycles, in their own words. Like the Silver Surfer, you know, coming in as the harbinger of doom behind him to destroy the planet in thermonuclear war. I guess the Silver Surfer is the harbinger of Galactus. I mean, that's basically what we're dealing with here. And that's why I get angry by the average person in a checkout line going, hey, Alex, like your show. By the way, did you watch the UT game? And I'm like, you like my show and you're asking me about football. Well, yeah, but you got to have some fun. Yeah, I got it. You got to have some fun. But I'm not going to have fun watching what they tell me to have fun watching. Because there's more propaganda in the ads and during the football games than anywhere else. And I'm just digressing. I just want to stop this. And I feel like I'm not doing enough. I feel like I don't have enough energy and focus. Okay, so I'm not kicking you out there or angry at you, and I'm not on a high horse. I'm just telling you, folks, there's a good chance they're going to start World War III in the next decade. And it might start next week. It might start next year. But almost every analyst, go look at all the top military analysts. Ministry of Defense reports out of England. Department of Defense reports here. The Chinese government's reports. The German reports. The EU reports. The Japanese reports. I've got some of them right here today, in fact. They are saying that we are literally hurtling towards massive war. And remember what Dick Cheney did back in 888 when the Olympics started, launching a sneak attack on areas of Russian-held northern Georgia, South Ossetia, and Abkhazia. Our media ran with the hoax worldwide that the Russians had attacked. And I'm not romanticizing the Russians. I just don't want to start a war with them. And the Russians rolled in medium-range mobile trucks with medium-range thermonuclear weapons on them and said on European and Russian television, in Russian and English, if NATO forces do not pull back and stop and don't stop landing new forces at the capital of Georgia, we're going to launch nuclear missiles at you in Europe. And during the Cuban Missile Crisis, that was a big deal because they were on our doorstep. And we were in the right to say, get your missiles out of here. Well, now here's the West on their doorstep. But the difference is it was #1 news story. And people literally losing sleep because they should have in both governments when nuclear war almost happened in 1961. Now this stuff's happening, and the average trendy literally wants to show off their mismatched socks or how big their mustache is, or, you know, tell me the latest martini which is fine. Cool. I like your mustache. I like your style. I like your martini. The point is that's not the culture. In fact, historically, a culture like that is what you see right before a world war as well. Things are always very decadent. The roaring 20s before the Depression, all of it. I mean, we are just on the edge of destruction. We are surfing the apocalypse, ladies and gentlemen, and it's already the apocalypse in Central Africa. It's already the apocalypse to people's pension funds in Europe. It's already the apocalypse in areas in China with the slave camps. And I'm just here saying we better decide, can we get this ship fixed and get the holes fixed and get the pumps running? Or do we go to the lifeboats? Because let me tell you something, folks. If you try to go to the lifeboats too late, that's the worst time. And I'm asking myself that same question. In my own life, in my own family, I'm so caught in the routine of the radio, the TV, everything we cover and do here, that Obama has become a dictator, officially. No one even denies it now. Doesn't mean he'll stay in office, but he's made the office totally dictatorial, autocratic, by every yardstick. And it's getting worse by the day now. And I'm just here taking it as well. I can't even, we're always so busy, or I'm always so tired when I'm at home at night, I can't discuss with my wife preparations, or what do we do, or what's our plans. I don't blame anybody for not knowing what to do, because I don't know what to do. I mean, do I run to Switzerland? Do I run to Iceland? Do I run to Tasmania? Do I run to New Zealand? Do I run to the South Pacific? Because believe me, ladies and gentlemen, I don't care about money. Money's like fuel in a gas tank for me. It's fuel to do what I want, to have some security, to be able to stand up for myself. That's all it is. In fact, it's a burden, a responsibility to try to make the money to run the operation and then have enough in reserve to operate and mess with it and everything. Money means, after about 250 protesters following us around all day in the sleet and rain in Dallas, from 10 a.m. until about 4 o'clock, broadcasting live, being beat up by the police, the 25 or 30 people left, I could take them over to the hotel and buy them all dinner and buy them all hot drinks, whether it was cocoa or a hot toddy. That's what I want money for. And that's money well spent. But I tell you, I mean, the only reason I'm still on air, the only reason I'm here at the helm of InfoWars is because I know we've got a chance of beating these people by reaching out to the power structure and those in the infrastructure throughout the strata, in corporate, ecclesiastical, governmental, private lives, homeschoolers, public schoolers, police, military, bureaucrats. The writing is far beyond being on the wall. It is flaming. It is naked. It is loud. It is bold. It is like sirens and red flags and explosions going off and start guns going off. I mean, it's like the 4th of July rolled into the Kentucky Derby, rolled into a hydrogen bomb going off. Just ring, 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 ring. You can hear the air raid sirens culturally, historically. I mean, it's just, and that's why the elite's so corrupt now. They've actually gone to the phase of grabbing everything not nailed down and running. That's the big sign, is all the rich are running out of Europe, running out of Israel, running out of the U.S., they're all running to the north of Canada, or they're running to Idaho, it's even in USA Today. They're building giant bunkers. They're getting private security. They're buying weapon systems. Why? Because they know what they've done. And we've done it too, letting them do it. You want to know who's to blame for all this, folks? And I say this to myself as well. We ought to create an intro with clips of V talking where he says, you know, how bad the establishment is. But he says, if you really want to know who's behind it, you are. Just look in the mirror. And that's right. And I'm willing to look in the mirror. And that's why I don't want you calling up, telling me how great I am, telling me how much you appreciate me. Listen, we are on a ship that is frickin' sinking, man. We got enemies running around putting more weapon systems on the bottom of it trying to sink it because they're already going to be offshore. It's a very tiny elite that want to actually bring down civilization. Very tiny. We're talking about a few thousand globalists here that really know the master plan. They've written on it, too. I mean, we know what their plan is, but they're even their minions, even their adjuncts, even their proteges do not know, okay? Now, we've decompartmentalized their operation, and others have. And now it's getting viral spread because people are going, whoa, I checked into this guy. He's telling the truth. And I'm not telling you something that I deserve a medal for. The enemy published it all. That's been their miscalculation. They're proud of their evil. But you and I and all of us together have to get really aggressive, peacefully and politically and economically now, ahead of all hell breaking loose. Depression, war, civil war, just absolute nightmares. We have to admit this is happening and be able to turn it around. Be right back. The facts are in. The studies are legion. Sodium fluoride and other members of the fluorine family that are added to Western water supplies are devastating the health and cognitive ability of the people that drink it. So the question is, why are the social engineers adding it to the water? Simple. Dumb down the host population that the parasitic technocracy is feeding on. We developed Fluoride Shield to be the highest quality, highest standards because I use it every day and my family uses it every single day. Let's take a closer look at the ingredients that make up this special proprietary formula. Tamarind has been celebrated for its ability to immobilize toxic fluoride residues, while zeolites have a long history of attracting and holding toxic compounds. Enter fulvic acid, an excellent cleansing agent. Then we added the highest quality shilajit, a rare compound that is collected from the high mountains of the Himalayas. We topped it all off with the powerhouse herb cilantro that is intended to mobilize fluoride and other dangerous compounds for removal from the body. And the final touch to energize this formula is our proprietary nascent iodine. And as always, consult your physician as well because that is important. And finally, Fluoride Shield, Survival Shield, and all the products at InfoWarsLife.com grew out of my quest to try to find the very best compounds from God's cornucopia to protect myself and my family. And from our research, I believe we are bringing you the best, highest quality products. And you have that commitment from Alex Jones and the entire InfoWars crew. Well, Matt Pearson sent an email to one of my friends, Matt Pearson, who was in the Army, sent an email to the guy challenging him to man up and call him and explain himself. And the person called from England saying he is the Colonel Bateman and said basically that he defends his stance. Then there's another Bateman of the exact same name who's also a colonel who says he is not this guy. So we're going to have another article out by Paul Watson to ascertain exactly what's going on and clear that up. But regardless, you've got the Small Wars Journal and people that teach at West Point, a whole bunch of them now, and at Texas A&M teaching that they're going to repeal the Second Amendment, and that is the issue here. So we're going to develop the proper, not even so much correction, but clarification, and our apologies to the other Bateman. So that is coming up, and we'll get all of that lined up properly. All right, folks, here's the good news. People are starting to wake up to what's happening. And here's an article out of the Huffington Post, of all places, talking bad about their dear leader. Obama faces backlash because of secret trade deals. The Obama administration appears to have almost no discussion with anybody, and they're keeping the entire plan secret. In fact, guys, will you print me this in printer friendly? Thanks a lot. This wasn't printed in printer friendly. so I can actually read that article on air for folks. But that was brought to me by somebody else. Not your fault. Nobody's fault. Point is that there it is. Obama faces backlash over new corporate powers and secret trade deal. There's the full headline by Zach Carter up on the Huffington Post. So there is that report. Here is another one. Barack Obama's de facto totalitarian nation. That's the Intrepid report, going through the examples of total tyranny and the dictatorship from the NDAA to Obamacare. Here's another one by the New American. Why are key Obama policies shrouded in secret? Congress investigates Obama's attempt to become a dictator. We have all those links up on Infowars.com. Cruz, Senator Cruz, slams the lawless, that's a quote, implementation of Obamacare. That's right, it's totally lawless how they've now taken the unconstitutional criminal tax law. That's what it is, it's a tax. Supreme Court ruled it. I told you it was a tax to foreign banks and globalist pirates. And now he says he'll implement whatever he feels like on any given day. So if you're an insider, you're exempt. If you're not, you're totally hammered. And this is the genius of tyranny. So the good news is this is starting to come out. You know, they said you could keep your doctor and your price would go down to the cost of a telephone or cable bill. Well, now Ezekiel Emanuel, the doctor who helped write it, he's the main architect, says you can keep your doctor as long as you're willing to pay more. That video is up on Infowars.com from Fox News Sunday. Told Chris Wallace that. So there you go. He said, of course you could keep it like Obama said, but he meant pay more. And we have that clip. Let's go ahead and play that clip here for viewers.
The president never said you were going to have unlimited choice of any doctor in the country you want to go. Let me just finish.
Wait, no. He asked a question. If you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. Did he not say that, sir?
He didn't say you can have unlimited choice.
It's a simple yes or no question. Did he say if you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor?
Yes, but look, if you want to pay more for an insurance company that covers your doctor, you can do that. This is a matter of choice.
Remember, this is the same guy that said, of course we're trying to bankrupt things and get rid of the single payer. That's all they're doing is nationalizing it, but it won't even be true socialism. That's bad enough. It's worse. It's total fascism, robbery, foreign tax.
Now you can watch the InfoWars Nightly News streaming live as it happens for free.
Check it out at Infowars.com/show.